Hi, welcome back into the channel, and I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I want to talk about sexual intimacy in marriage and why this is something that is really, really important. And before I get into the video, I just want to make a disclaimer that I am not a therapist. I am not a sex coach, right? I'm not a sexologist. I am just sharing my own personal experiences and opinions, and I just want to hear back from what you guys have to say, because I am trying to build a community here. So please engage with me in the video down below in the comments. Anyhow, if you are in a marriage covenant, right, and your husband has asked you to marry him, and you said your vows for death do us part, right, and you are expecting your spouse not to be with anybody else, my question to you is, and I say this with my most sincere heart, is why are some women, right, abstaining from sex, especially if you are in a healthy marriage? I'm talking about a healthy marriage. I'm not talking about somebody who is dragging you through the mud, who's cheating on you, who's not protecting, providing, loving. No, I'm talking about in a healthy marriage, because I see a lot of men complaining about this. They would say that, their wife never wants to do it anymore, and if she does, she makes them feel like a chore, right? So if you've been, there's a number of reasons of why you may not want to do it. You could just be flat out tired, right? But if you are tired, you need to communicate that with your spouse. They need to know why, right? So that way you can get the needed rest. Sometimes some women, we may be struggling with depression, right? Your libido may be down. If that's the case, you may need to get necessary vitamins and nutritions to help rise that. Another reason it could be is that maybe you may have been dealing with some type of sexual trauma. And if you're dealing with some type of sexual trauma, you may not be able to let loose so much, right? Because let's be real, some women may not even be experiencing an orgasm, right? They're not orgasmic. So they don't even enjoy the sexual experience because they feel like it's all for the man, and they don't get anything out of it. But this goes back to the communication in your marriage, which is the most important, because if you cannot be vulnerable with your spouse, then who can you be vulnerable with? And you should be able to be vulnerable with them, right? Because they see you every day, right? Our spouses see us every single day, good or bad. So we should be able to communicate issues, good or bad, to them, so that way we can improve. Because yes, marriage is a lifetime, and you want to have a good marriage, and a good marriage includes sexual intimacy that is healthy. So if you are struggling, I'm going to go back to that sexual trauma. If you are struggling with sexual trauma, you need to go seek out a therapist, right? A coach, or even go to God. You might have to do all three, to be real, right? Because you want to enjoy it. I feel like some women, they are worried about how they smell, right? How they sound. They are too afraid to let loose, right? And this is something that God made marriage, like sex and marriage, to be enjoyable. Some of us, before we got married, we was living it up, doing it, right, with whomever, whenever. And then for some reason, when we got in the marriage covenant, it became backwards, where we felt like, I ain't doing that. I don't care if he needs that. I'm tired. Oh God, he wants it again. Yes, he wants it again. If you are in the prime of your years and you are still youthful, of course they want it again, don't you? And if you don't, you have to understand and fix that issue, because if you do not, you open the door for the enemy. And let's be clear, I'm not giving your spouse the green light to cheat on you just because you're not giving them sex. What I'm saying is, it says in the Bible that you are to abstain, right, for a time, but you have to agree with your spouse only if you guys are going to be doing prayer and fasting together. But if you're not doing prayer and fasting together, and you're just abstaining and you're withholding, right, you're playing this game, I'm not going to do it, then you are opening the door to the enemy for your spouse to be tempted, right? We don't want to open any doors willingly or knowingly. So with that being said, please seek out the necessary help, right, that you need to get, so that way you can be fruitful and multiplying. Well, some of us, our spouses got vasectomies, or we may even have our tubes tied, so we don't have to worry about the multiplication part. We can just enjoy it. But with that being said, I just want to let you know to please seek out who you need to seek out, right? If it's a deeper issue, if you are insecure with your body, that can be another thing, right? But if your spouse is making you feel loved, then you need to go within, because we all have some type of insecurity that we struggle with. I understand that, but that should not hinder you from being intimate with your spouse. So this concludes today's video. I hope it was helpful. Please like, share the video with anybody you think this will be beneficial to. And thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.